Hi, Dr. Haleema. How are you? Nice to meet you again.
Oh, I am very good. And how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am great. So, Dr. Raji, thank you very much for being with us once again. Dr. Raji, we were talking about research, and when the people they do research, or the students, so they come across lots of content on Google and online, and even in the books. So sometimes it has been seen that the people they copy the content as it is. So is it against their intellectual right, or there is some laws for this?
Definitely. Throughout the world, we call this as plagiarism. Like if Dr. Haleema prepares a paper and publishes it, or it's found in the internet, some other kid who is 10 years old or 18 years old, or if an adult who is 25 years old goes and does a research on management, comes up with Dr. Haleema's paper, she or he finds a beautiful paragraph, just lifts it from there and uses it in his or her own paper without acknowledging that is taken from Dr. Haleema. It's called plagiarism.
Oh.
See, for example, what happens now is, I've had a personal experience in this also. I've been teaching regularly in the university, and for one of the assignments, my student submits a paper. I was going through the paper. The student's university student, the language was quite average for the assignment. Suddenly, for 2 to 3 paragraphs, the language is Shakespearean.
Oh.
Huh? What happened? I look up and down, there is no inverted commas, there is no footnotes, no bibliography, no reference. But the 3 paragraph, it had a familiar feel. I felt that I have seen it somewhere, I have read it somewhere. Then to my shocked disbelief, I found that it is from my own paper submitted long time back.
Oh.
Then I called my student and said that, look, I am highly flattered that you have decided to read my paper and make use of this. I really appreciate. Only one small detail you have omitted.
Mm-hmm.
Should have put it in inverted commas. Now underneath you should have acknowledged my name with Dr. Raji Srinivasan, then the paper's name, wherever it was published, elsewhere, everything should have been there. If it had been there, your paper is considered as a paper that has made good use of references, footnotes, whatever it is. But without that acknowledgement, your paper falls into the category where you have decided to steal and hijack somebody else's intellectual property and use it as your own without acknowledging it. You see, this you are trying to teach at the university level. In India, long time back, for PhD students, for MPhil students and all, the basic thing is you cannot plagiarize and all. But what happens? This plagiarism, people take it very lightly. That is the unfortunate problem there. But throughout the world, in academic circle, plagiarism is not treated as a normal thing. It is stealing.
Yes, I think it comes under cybercrime.
Not necessarily cybercrime. It is stealing of intellectual property. So many rules and laws are there in every country. I do not know under what it falls, but it falls under crime, simple crime.
So when we are going to have like the workshop for the students for research skills, so certainly we are going to take care of this aspect.
Definitely. You see, for example, if you do not alert the very young kids against plagiarism, at the age of 18 or 19, they won't even think that plagiarism is a crime. You see, you teach very young kids that stealing is a crime, not when they are 18, right? You teach them that stealing is a crime when they are 2 years old, when they are 3 years old. Academic stealing, you are able to teach. See, when they are 6 years old, they sing a song and say, this is my song, you appreciate. And then they sing your song and say, this is my song. You say, you are singing very well, but this is Dr. Haleema's song, not your song. You have to say that you borrowed it from her. We teach like that.
Yes.
So when it comes to intellectual property, each one of us must learn. You see, nobody says that you cannot use other people's material.
But you have to acknowledge, at least we have
You
to
acknowledge it. Not only that. Even if you acknowledge also, it will become like too bad. If you use like 10 quotations in a 800 words essay, you use 10 quotations. Each quotation is about 100 words. What have you written in the paper? Everybody else's words are
there is like some percentage that only this much you can
So you have to develop the skill. See, along with the research skills comes something called analytical skills, argumentative skills. You see, a person, ideally, when you do a research paper, when I'm teaching the kids, ideally, we have to teach them, number one, how to find materials for whatever topic they have chosen. Second, once you find materials, how to sieve through the materials and arrive at the objectivity of the material. Once you decide that, you come and you start using it in a very clumsy manner, in a rough manner, in the form of an article, essay, whatever you call it. But once you cross that stage, now is the time you start looking at it. Okay, this information is correct. I have evidence here. What is my argument? In the court of law, if you go, okay, you say, excuse me, my lord, my client is innocent. Keep saying innocent, innocent, innocent. Okay, let him be innocent. Yeah. But where is the evidence for that? Okay, I have provided you evidence. Evidence, judge will not argue for himself, right? Again, we have to argue. See, that argumentative ability, building up an argument, we have to teach them. Then how to do the proper paragraph structure, the article writing structure, or essay, research paper structure and all. And on top of writing, how do you present it in a webinar? That is a different skill. See, just whatever you do in Microsoft Word, not necessarily you can present it like that in a webinar. You may have to use it in a PowerPoint slide. You may use a PowerPoint slide only as your anchor point, and then you may have to do a kind of an impromptu lecture. All these are slightly higher skills. Please believe me, your thinking is your limitation. Very young kids, as young as say 7 years old kids, so far the youngest I have trained is a 7-year-old in this research skill. 7-year-old kids are capable of picking up these skills very fast.
Wow.
Yeah, they are able to. Of course, their language will be simple, but they are able to. Yeah. They are able to.
So, Dr. Raji, I am eager to take you to the Indian kids. Definitely. So that my Indian kids also can learn and they can also be a researcher in future. So stay tuned, my dear friends. Very soon we are going to bring something very interesting, very exciting, very concrete in association with ACE International, Dr. Ram. So thank you very much.